Hi there, my name is Shaylin and I'm a professional writing tutor at the UNT Dallas Learning Commons.
And I'm Elizabeth, also a professional writing tutor. Today, we're going to talk to you about how to survive a writing class, whether it's an English class or a course in your major that requires a lot of writing, such as an upper level psychology or biology class. We'll share with you 3 strategies to help you plan and execute successful writing assignments. Let's get started.
The first strategy is to carefully review your syllabus with your assignment instructions and rubric before, while, and after you write to make sure you are following all the directions.
It's important to review the instructions and rubric before you start writing to make sure you understand the directions and stay on track as you begin writing. After you review the instructions and rubric, determine any questions that you have about what you're supposed to do. Contact your professor if you have any questions or need clarification.
As you start brainstorming, researching, outlining, and writing your paper, keep the instructions and rubric close by to refer back to so that you stay on track throughout the process.
Finally, when you finish writing, look back over the instructions and rubric to make sure you included everything.
Let's talk about rubrics. The rubric is simply a chart that provides insight into how your professor will grade the assignment. It shows you what components are required and how to make each component the best you can so you get the highest grade possible.
Here's an example of a rubric. You always want to compare your writing to whichever description offers the highest number of points. Here, you can see 2 sections under the Exceeds Standards column, Depth of Reflection and Required Components. By following the prompt and being as thorough as possible, you should exceed the standards. To get the best grade possible, you have to go beyond the bare minimum, and reading a rubric can help you see how to do that.
Now that you know the importance of the assignment, instructions, and rubric, let's talk about our second strategy. Write your paper in stages by utilizing the writing process. Have you ever tried to start and complete an entire research paper all in one day, including selecting the topic, finding research, writing the paper, and editing? That's a lot to do all at once, and we don't recommend it. Instead, you can break up your paper into stages. This is what we call the writing process.
The writing process might look differently for each person, but the typical steps of writing a research paper include brainstorming and topic selection, research and note-taking, outlining and thesis development, writing a first draft in chunks, revising the draft for big picture issues, and finally, editing the draft for final reviews to create your final paper.
Each step helps you move forward into the next step. After you decide on a topic, you know what to research. As you research, you'll begin to develop ideas for the overarching thesis and main points of your paper and how you organize it. Once you have organized your ideas into an outline, you can begin the actual writing of the paper. You might try writing a section at a time. Once you have a draft written, you can read through it critically to determine, does this paper make sense? Do all my points relate clearly to my thesis? Is the paper organized and easy to digest? Have I covered everything required by the instructions and rubric? Finally, once you have revised your paper for big picture issues, you can revise for smaller stuff, grammar, typos, correcting formatting, and citations, etc.
Some steps will take longer than others, and sometimes you might skip a step or go back to a step, and that's okay. The writing process isn't meant to restrict you. Instead, it's a helpful guide for your process to help you stay on track and motivated.
Another way to help you stay on track and motivated without procrastinating is found in our third strategy: start early and give yourself deadlines. Time management is key to success in college and especially with writing papers. It can be helpful to use a planner or calendar to mark due dates. Just how early you need to start will depend on your paper length and how demanding your schedule is. But generally, it's good to start a paper several weeks in advance, making small goals and deadlines for yourself throughout the process to help you stay motivated.
Here's an example of a calendar marked with my writing deadlines and goals. First, I wrote my due date on my calendar. Then I began putting in deadlines for each step of the writing process, working backwards until I made it to the first step, topic selection. I determined that I needed 3 weeks to complete this paper. After selecting a topic, I planned to research and organize my ideas the first week. The second week was for writing the bulk of the paper, and the third week was for revisions. You might notice my note on the 27th for a writing appointment. That leads us to our bonus tip, which is
Make an appointment with the writing tutor in the Learning Commons for assistance and feedback on your paper at any stage of the writing process. Remember those steps in the writing process: topic selection, research, thesis, organizing, writing, revising. We can help you at any of those stages. Most people like to come when they have a completed draft, and we go over revisions such as making sure the paper follows the requirements and makes sense, correcting APA format and citations, and revising for grammar and sentence structure. You may find it helpful to have another set of eyes look at your paper before you submit it.
But remember, our appointments can fill up, so make sure you schedule an appointment ahead of time and give yourself a couple days to revise after your appointment before you have to submit the assignment. If you come an hour before it's due, our feedback will not be as helpful for you.
You can schedule appointments through our website, learning.untdallas.edu. Undergraduate students can have up to one 45-minute writing appointment per day. We offer face-to-face tutoring when campus is open, and we also offer online tutoring options through Zoom and email. Visit our website for more information.
To summarize, here are 3 tips and a bonus tip for surviving a writing class. Tip 1, carefully review your syllabus with the assignment instructions and rubric before, while, and after you write to make sure you are following all the directions. Tip 2, write your paper in stages by utilizing the writing process. Tip 3, start early and give yourself deadlines. And finally, make an appointment with a writing tutor in the Learning Commons for assistance and feedback on your paper at any stage of the process. We hope to see you with your next paper.